different topics within 250 words. That is the key. Rajesh should be start preparing also. Aitaria, did you say hi to uncle?
Hi.
Hi, Mita. How are you doing?
Good.
How are you studying?
Good.
Why is sitting here? Why is this Krishna?
She has homework.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she'll do whatever she can and then
No problem.
when he's talking, she can do that. That's why it's what? Matt? Matt? You have a Matt?
It's director's place. Right.
Well, the director's wife said, move a little. Move a little, I'll put there is space here. Huh? So okay, there are people sitting. Abhi badhiya hai.
Then you're reading. Are they?
Ask him.
No, if you're asking me, One, two, three in here, then 5, 6, 8.
Hello.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
Good.
Long time.
Yes. Last 2016.
Yeah, well, last year it wasn't in Durga Temple.
No.
They didn't come.
Yeah.
We went to Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah, we go 1 week there.
Okay. You drive from here
Yeah.
every day?
I don't have a helicopter.
No, I mean, I thought you would stay there.
No,
So how much?
I live in Vakil.
Right. How much time takes?
It's about 1 hour at least.
Fredericks, right?
Good 1 hour. It's not Frederick. It's in between. Right behind the Rockville area.
Oh, okay.
Sarmaji.
Uh-huh.
It's permanent.
Yeah.
Always. Last year, because of Durga Temple did not have it.
Yeah. It's big, difficult to get a place. Right?
Yeah, and I
You
get.
should do exercise. It's now we not doing.
I was doing it for a year and a half, and I got a little bit back up and stopped it.
I start doing Durga temple every day, every Saturday, Sunday.
You should do. But
Yeah.
now you're doing this one.
No, here.
Yeah, now he's doing this one also.
Yeah.
This
one I
yeah.
do.
Yeah, he's doing the
Yeah, so this is the one I had, and I know that.
Oh,
Oh, you know that?
oh yeah, we are common friends. Yeah.
He's very regular now.
Yeah, they're trying to be. So they are in the breathing practice for a long
I
time.
do 3 years a week,
Right.
but not the regular exercise,
Just this breathing.
breathing. But that really helps.
Yeah. If you would like to sit in a chair, please.
I will
Yes,
sit in a chair.
I can sit down and.
Yeah, so if you need a mat, you can pick a mat from here.
Mhm.
Now breathing is better.
Yeah, the other one also you can sit and do in the chair.
Where is Rajen Bhai? Yeah.
He hasn't come yet.
Oh no, I mean he sits down there.
On the
Yeah, on
chair.
the chair.
Oh,
He
okay.
sits on the chair.
सारे chair ले लेंगे.
Because I had the email from them was showing Durga temple. Then I called Purvi and she said it's out here.
Oh, okay. They maybe use the old one.
Yeah, well, that came from Vijay Shah.
Oh, okay.
He's out on West Coast.
Right.
So how are you doing nowadays?
Doing good? Yeah.
Very good.
Is everybody signing? I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
being good. Yeah. Just gonna see. Bless it. I think I'm good.
Really? Is she good at it? I don't know, I assume because she's your.
Oh my God, my
So you have to be good enough that she'll leave you alone.
Oh, okay. So read your
It's funny, my father, my husband last night.
Were you next to?
Before you all read, I mean, if you not write, wrote your name on that book, so you should that.
Do you want me to pass the book around?
No, it wasn't be fine, right?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah. Those who did not, just write your
Yeah,
name.
we did.
Just want to know.
Good enough.
It's so cute because he's never home. I'm usually the one who's sitting.
Oh, yeah. From sometimes it's, you have to have experience like waiting.
Oh, he's fine, he's watching a baseball game.
Yeah. You don't close it now. Otherwise,
Are you sure?
more people. Yeah, so if you go after the video, I think that's good.
It is on.
Good evening. We'll first go through everything we've done, right? And then we'll learn something else after that. Look at the palms of your hands. Tighten them, tight, tight. Feel the tension tight. Relax, look at them again. Again, tighten them, tight, tight, tight. Feel the tension. Relax, look at them again. Last time, tighten them, tight, tight, tight. Relax. Both the hands in opposite directions. Pull tight, tight. Feel the tension tight. Relax. Again, pull tight, tight, tight. Feel the tension tight. Relax. Last time, pull tight, tight, tight. Relax. Right leg, toes toward the body. Pull tight, tight, tight. Relax. Again, pull tight, tight, tight. Relax. Last time, pull tight, 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 tight. Relax. Left leg, pull tight, 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 tight. Relax. Again, pull tight, 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 tight. Relax. Last time, pull tight, tight. Feel the tension, tight. Relax. Chest, breathe in, expand the chest. Breathe in, expand, tight, tight, tight. Relax. Again, breathe in, expand the chest, tight chest. Tight, tight, tight. Relax. Last time, breathe in, expand, tight, tight, tight. Feel the tension, relax. Stomach, breathe out, pull in. Breathe out, pull in, pull in, pull in, pull, pull. Relax. Again, breathe out, pull in, pull in, pull in, pull, pull, pull. Relax. Last time, breathe out, pull in, pull, 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 pull. Relax. Whole body, stand up. On the toes, pull tight, tight, tight. Relax. Again, pull tight, tight. Feel the tension. Relax. Last time, tight, tight. Relax. Now we'll do the exercise. Vaisu. Breathe in from the nose, breathe out from the mouth, swinging the hands. With the music. With the music.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
First exercise, deep chest breathing with the music. 1, 2, 3 in, 5, 6 out.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1,
Okay,
2,
second
3, 5,
exercise,
6,
stomach.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
Third exercise, stretch the legs. Try to catch the toes. Look up.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6,
Catch,
1,
catch.
2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
They catch wherever you can.
1, 2, 3, 5,
Look
6,
up.
1, 2, 3, 5,
That's
6,
it.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
Okay. Fourth exercise, one deep breath in 5 installments. Breathe out forcefully from the mouth. Fifth exercise, breathe in 5, hold the breath in the lungs 5, breathe out emptying the lungs 5, hold empty 5. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold empty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold empty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold empty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Sixth exercise. Take a deep breath. Lock the nose. Push the chin down into the hollow of the neck. Bring saliva in the mouth. Swallow like you're drinking water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look up. Release. Again, take a deep breath. Block the nose. Push the chin down. Swallow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look up. Release. One more time. Take a deep breath. Block the nose. Push the chin down. Swallow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look up. Release. Okay. Now we'll do 3, 2, 1 in reverse. Third exercise. Look up.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6.
Second exercise.
1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6. 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6. 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6. 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6.
We'll do 1 minute alternate breathing. Breathe in from here, out from here, breathe in from here, right?
1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6. 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6. 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6. 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2 3 5 6 1 2.
Cold nugget. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in. Keep the breath out. Keep this pulled in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep pulling in. Take the other hand here. Start fast, shallow breathing here at the throat. As shallow as possible. Okay. We'll do a few minutes of rhythmic breathing, normal rhythmic breathing, just with the music. One, two, three, 5, 6. Just close your eyes. Be totally relaxed. Breathe with the music. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. One, two, three, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay. Any questions anyone has on the exercise? Yeah. Pardon?
Is it okay if my breath is longer than the music?
Longer, that is, you breathe in more than 1, 2, 3?
I breathe in 1, 2, 3, then I say I'm stay there for a while. And then totally my breath is longer than the music. The duration of my breath is longer. She's not breathing as deeply as she could.
No, her breathing is slower than 12 per minute. And you see, there's a misconception in yoga that the slower the breathing, the slower the thought process. But it depends upon you. I would rather that you breathe at 12 per minute. Because if you go slower than 12 per minute, then you may become a little, detached from life. You understand? You won't find interest in life. It is okay for a sannyasi to take it below 12 per minute because he has gone to an ashram, right? But for a person who's living a normal life with children and all, I wouldn't advise them to take it below 12 per minute.
It's not happening because of my effort. That's how I breathe.
Yeah, so that is why we have to make a new effort to breathe this way. That is why we have to make an effort to breathe this way.
So why we keep our hand here?
To keep it as shallow as possible. As shallow as possible. I don't want it to go low. I want it to be as shallow here as possible. That's why.
When you are doing shallow breathing, the sound that comes is you are breathing out or breathing in?
Only breathing out. Yeah. In automatically. Yeah.
So this is an exercise, but are you saying that even now while we're talking, I should be breathing in that same rhythm?
Yeah, when you're talking, of course, the breathing will stop. But when you're not talking, I would prefer that you start breathing in that rhythm all the time. That's why you download the music on the phone and you take it to your place of work and also try to breathe the music while doing the work.
The last speed that we,
Yeah.
one with close.
That is not an exercise, that is normal breathing. Normal breathing. Okay, anything else, anyone? Okay, we'll do some omkars, right? We'll do how many? 9? 9 will be okay. Right. No, I didn't understand. No, just not that. That is after 20 minutes. That is after.
One time because morning we were not here, so how to say.
It's not something.
No, like one thing, like one time. Not like one thing. Like how to say.
It's auma. So you go. Right? Okay. Take a deep breath. Again, take a deep breath. One more time. Those who are not there in the morning, I would request them to go through the video.
Where we get the video?
We will post it and send.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you. Continue. Any questions anyone has? Otherwise, we'll start our class.
The last part of the what he asked, the same question.
Yeah.
We need to do the 20 minutes of Omkar and that one. What is the name of the house we call it?
What?
The last one.
That is Bindu.
Bindu.
It's called Bindu. Right? This is the Bindu chakra. There are two chakras over here, Sahasrara and Bindu. So Sahasrara is like a modem. Today, like science talks about left brain, core brain, right brain. So it says the right brain is like a modem. It's in communication with every brain in the universe. That is the power of the right brain. Right? So the right brain is Sahasrara. The divine center is Bindu. They're next to each other. Right? Divine center is Bindu. So we want to open the Bindu. So we take the sound up. But the basic, actually, Omkar really doesn't start till half an hour or so. Till then, we are really not doing anything. Not doing anything. Right? So, but people don't have time and all for all these practices. When my guru also, he used to give an earthworm. It's an earthworm. Right? So he told me that only 6 minutes of your time, 6 exercises. And a time came when I was wondering whether there are 6 minutes left for myself. That so many practices come in. So many. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter, but later on do it with your eyes closed, as long as you're not daydreaming. Right? But if you are daydreaming, open your eyes, put a small candle in front of you, and look at the candle. Then close your eyes and see the candle inside. For some time, you'll see the candle inside. Right? Then again, open your eyes and look at the candle because you'll stop seeing it inside. Again, look at it outside for some time. Again, close your eyes and look at it inside. After some time, without looking at the candle outside, you will be able to hold the candle inside. Right? This is the state of dharana. Dharana. So Patanjali talks about 3 states: dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So he says, Desh Band Chitasya Dharana. Chit means the mind. Desh means space. To hold the mind in one space is dharana, the power of holding. Dharan karu, the power of holding. Right? So you can do it throughout these exercises. Keep a candle, look at the candle, close your eyes, look at the candle inside. For some time you'll see it inside, then again open your eyes and look at the candle outside. Right? You do this for 3 months. After 3-4 months, you'll see the candle inside without having to look at it outside. It's a lot of power you gather. So what do we want to talk about today? Okay. Which are the 5 weaknesses of the human race? The 5 weaknesses of the human race. Patanjali calls them as klesh. Klesh. Klesh means that which is the seed of conflict. I'll write it on the board. I think it'll be easier. Klesh. And he says there are 5 kleshas. 5 kleshas. I don't know how many of us have studied the Bhagavad Gita, but one of the names of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is Keshav. Keshav, right? Keshav, the normal meaning, Kesh means hair. But the deeper meaning is the one who has overpowered the kleshas. Kleshas, right? Now, according to Patanjali, there are 5 kleshas. The first one is avidya, absence of light. Vid means light. Avid means no light. No light. Right? Many people don't translate this as absence of light, they translate it as ignorance. Right? But we'll take the direct translation, just absence of light. Now, the second klesh he calls is asmita. Asmita. Sense of I. Feeling of I. Right? The child has a feeling of I. We don't know what it is. We've forgotten what it is. But when he's given a name, slowly we call him by that name. So the feeling of I shifts from something which was original to the name. Right? So then when you call his name, he'll put his hand up. Yes, I. Right? He feels I. Of course, then many things change in that I. So that, what is your sense of I? What is the feeling of I? This is called as asmita. Asmi, I am. Uchu, asmi. Right? I am. The third one is rag, attraction. Attraction. The fourth one is dvesh, repulsion. Many people translate rag as attachment. Rag means that which colors. That which colors. Dvesh, repulsion. And the fifth and final klesh is known as abhinivesh. Abhi means fear. Fear of non-continuity. Fear of non-continuity. Right? Now, on a larger scale, this could mean the fear of death. but it is still every moment. It is still every moment. I may have a small fear that he won't listen to me. Can you see what I'm talking about? It is the same thing, the fear of death. The fear that the I will not continue. Can you see in this feeling that he won't listen to me is the feeling that I will not continue. I feel a break in the I, right? So he must listen to me. Then I feel there is a continuity in my I. It's the same thing as fear of death. So Abhivinish, fear of non-continuity. These are the 5 kleshas. All karma is born out of these 5. These are the 5 seeds. 4 seeds actually. This is the ground in which they. Right? I just come to that. Right? So without these kleshas, there can be no karma. There can be no karma. Right? So we are going to do these kleshas are like master files. These are the basic weaknesses of the whole human race. The whole human race. Now, what could absence of light mean? What could absence of light mean? I go to a supermarket, shopping. What could absence of light mean? Darkness, yeah, but which light are we talking about?
Enlightenment.
Which light are we talking about? We talked about it yesterday. What is the most valuable thing in our life? Attention. We are talking about the light of attention. Right? Now, try to understand this. Avidya, with absence of light. I buy a new car. Why did I buy a new car? Because I was attracted to the car, right? I was attracted to one car, I was repulsed by many cars, right? And in that buying a new car, where is the absence of light? My attention goes to the car. It is actually seduced by the car, attracted by the car. We call that as rag. Rag, attraction. Am I coming across in this? But does my attention come back to me or is it stuck in the car? It is stuck in the car because if something happens to the car, it happens to me. Can you now understand what I'm trying to say? This is the state of avidya. The light went out, but the light did not come back. It is stuck in the car. Can you see? I buy a new house, right? And maybe a storm comes and damages a part of the house. I feel upset. Why do I feel upset? Because attention is stuck in the house. Now you understand? So, in how many things is our attention stuck? So, the light which was to remain in our bank over here, the money which was to remain in our bank over here, we've invested it in all kinds of places. Can you now understand what I'm saying? So, there is no light inside. This state is called the absence of light, avidya. Avidya. Right? Absence of light. So I go to a supermarket and I see something very beautiful. The attention goes out and it gets stuck on that thing. Right? So I say, unless I'm able to buy this thing, I'm going to die. Right? So important it is. So the light went out. So the first one, avidya, absence of light. The second one is asmita, the I, the sense of I. I want this. I want this. Right? So now this very I wanting this has attraction. Attraction. And I will not be at peace till I get it. I will not be at peace till I get it. Abhinivesh, the fear of non-continuity. Try to understand. Why do we fear death? Is it because death is unknown? Why do we fear death? Why? Is it fear of death, or is it fear that all my desires will remain unfulfilled? I still have to see my son get married, and then, of course, his son will grow up and get married. Can you see? So, there's a deep fear inside that my desires are going to remain unfulfilled. Rag. This is called as rag, attraction, attachment. Attachment. Right? But now I'm walking further in the supermarket, right? And I see something more beautiful. Right? And this happens to my daughter all the time. Right? Today she likes something, but tomorrow it will be something else. So I see something more beautiful. So then there is attraction to that and repulsion for that. Now this I wants to continue. This I wants to continue. Now we have to catch this I. We have to catch this I. It's like we are James Bond and we have to catch this, what do you call, the villain. To catch the villain. So where do we catch this I? Where do we catch? The one who wants to continue. He's feeling frightened here that there'll be non-continuity. So supposing you go in a room and there are 5, 10 people talking in the room, what are we saying deep down inside of us? Come on, come on. Please talk about me. Please talk about, can you see the continuity of the I? Right? Supposing you say, I went to see the Taj Mahal. Immediately I'll say 5 years ago also I went to see the Taj Mahal. Somehow I have to bring the I into the conversation. Tell me the last time you did not have a kitty party with no I. Right? Not possible. Not possible. One of the exercises we were given as students was not to use the word I. Not to use the word I. So this I, it is not just fear of death. Every moment there is this sense that I won't continue. I won't continue. And these are the 5 basic weaknesses of the whole human race. Right? Now all karma are born out of these 5. I'll just go a little deeper. This does not concern today's exercise. Till now, what I said concerns today's exercise. But I'll just explain this a little further and then go into the exercise. Now you're asking the question. What do we call this I? What is the normal term to call this I, which all the yogis call this I? Ego. We should put one word here, ego. Okay. Can the ego be seen? How do you study the ego? Right. We're talking about asmita. Asmita. Right? How can the ego be studied? Huh? Right? By the patterns it forms. By the patterns it forms. I don't know if any of you know a little bit about physics. So, when science first discovered subatomic particles, they could not see the particles. They could not see the particles, right? So what did they do? How did they study the particles? How do you study something which you cannot see? Huh? So they would take the particle and put it in something called an accelerator. Right? In which it would be given high speed. And the particle would be thrown into a chamber which is full of gases. It was called a cloud chamber. Cloud chamber. In that cloud chamber, it was actually called Wilson's cloud chamber, after the scientist who must have discovered this, but we just call it the cloud chamber, right? Now, in that cloud chamber, it made certain patterns. By studying the patterns, they would study the particle. Studying the patterns, they would study the particles. How do we study the ego? I gave you the hint. Right. So the ego makes 6 different kinds of patterns. 6 different kinds of patterns. They are called as lobha, greed, because today we are going to talk about the chakras. Which chakra is greed in? Come on, you all students of yoga.
Muladhara.
Muladhara. Why is greed in yoga, in Muladhara? Why is greed in Muladhara? Muladhara is the earth element. The earth element. And what is the quality of the earth element? It possesses which force? Gravity. Gravity is attraction. I go to a store, there is attraction. And when I joins gravity, it becomes greed. Right? The natural quality of Muladhara is to attract. So the first pattern the ego forms is greed. Right? The second pattern, desire. Which chakra? Swadhisthana. Why the Swadhisthana desire? Swadhisthana contains which element? Water. Apas. Water. Is Is there a desire in the water to dissolve the rock? Can we quench our thirst if there's no desire in the water to quench our thirst? Right? Also, water is all the emotions we feel, right? So desire. Next is Manipura, calm, Krodha. Krodha is in Manipura. Sorry, anger. Krodha is in anger. Manipura. Right? 3 of the 6. Next one, Moha. Moha means to be hypnotized. To be hypnotized. Right? Mohit. Hypnotized. Anahata. Right? Yeah. Next one.
Mother.
Jealousy. Not just jealousy, but
Proud.
jealousy and what will we call it?
Animals.
Envy. See, jealousy can be positive. Jealousy can be positive, that I'm jealous of him. So I may use it positively to work to be better than him. Can you get it? But in envy, I'll do something that, he falls down. I'm too lazy to work to do anything, right? So envy is even worse than jealousy, right? If you studied Shakespeare, Iago, envy, right? So these 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It is in the Vishuddhi chakra. And there's one more, mad, intoxication. Intoxication, right? Pramad, we say. Pramad, the person who is lazy. Actually, he's not lazy, he's intoxicated, right? So this is in all the chakras. It's in all the chakras, right? So the ego, when it goes in the cloud chamber of life, when it expresses itself in the cloud chamber of life, right? It forms one of these 6 patterns. At any moment, it is forming one or more of these 6 patterns. Can you now understand what I'm trying to say? So we don't study the ego, we study the patterns. From that, we understand what kind of ego we have. And this is an observation over a very, very long period of time. Right? Attention has to go in, and we have to study. Right? I may be giving a big donation to a hospital or something, right? But what is the pattern the ego making inside? It is not making a pattern of generosity. It is making a pattern of I, the big donor. What a good boy am I? The intoxication. That nursery rhyme. What a good boy am I? What a good boy am I? Right? Feeling of meritoriousness, intoxication, feeling of meritoriousness. I have done something good. So the ego cannot be seen. The ego manifests in these 6 different patterns at any time, all 6, 1, 2, 3, whatever, and we study those patterns and we understand the ratio of those patterns in the ego, right? Now, just one more thing, just in relation to today's exercise. I hope you're interested in all this. Yeah?
So this is called
Pardon?
Arishat
I don't understand.
Vargas.
6 seconds. 6 seconds. Okay. Now, when we will later, sometime, I don't know, study karma, we will see that the kleshas are the seed, right? And the patterns which the ego forms, are the finished product. Now, as far as our exercise is concerned, these all lie in the Mooladhara chakra. So, if we can destroy these in the Mooladhara chakra by some exercise, the factory will stop making finished product. That does not mean you're totally free, but it does mean that now whatever material is lying in the go down, can you get it, what I'm trying to say? Right? When that is over, you're free. And of course, maybe from the go down, you can come back and make a master file. That's different, right? Now, supposing in the old days, we used to have cassettes. Do you remember? When we were in college, we used to listen to music on cassettes. So, supposing I'm running a cassette factory, I will have a master for the cassette, and I would make copies, and I would sell the copies in the market. Now, if you want to destroy my business, if you burn one of my go downs, then I'll have a small setback, but I will keep on making more copies. You get it? But if you one day, come down into my, office in the night, and you open the safe and you take out the master from which I'm making the copies and you destroy the master, that's the end of the business. Right? The masters lie in the Mooladhara chakra. The masters lie in the Mooladhara chakra. Right? So we are going to learn an exercise which destroys the master files. Master files. You will not find this exercise in any books. Right? So it has directly come from the Guru. Now, one more thing. There is nuclear, fission, and nuclear fusion. All the Kundalini practices which are being taught in the market are all fission. They create a kind of tension between the two lower chakras, Mooladhara and Swadhisthana, and force the Kundalini energy up. Right? All. I'm saying all means all. I have not seen a single yoga book who talks about fusion. Fusion. Right? Till date. Till date. Right? Now, today what we are going to learn is fusion. Nuclear fusion. I hope you remember the diagram which I drew yesterday or this morning about the exchange of prana. This morning. Okay, I hope you remember that diagram. Now, these are the two chakras. Swadhisthana at 45 degrees to Muladhara. Muladhara is the biggest chakra. It is around the size of an 8-anna coin. Swadhisthana is around the size of a 4-anna coin. Right? And we saw that when there is exchange of prana, when there is exchange of prana, the prana comes out in one direction and goes in another. So the movement of the prana is in and out at the same time. Now, what we want to do over here is we want to rotate the prana between Mooladhara and Swadhisthana in the figure of 8. In the figure of 8. When the new prana comes to enter through the perineum, we will pull in the lower abdomen and stop this from entering. So the new prana will go back and the old prana we will keep rotating. Today I'm going to only show you the movements of this exercise. You're not supposed to start the exercise. The exercise can only be started after we've done the exercises which we did for 3 minutes each. Just now we are doing them for 1 minute each. So for 3 minutes each and then in reverse for 3 minutes each, then you are allowed to start this exercise. But I'm allowed to teach you the movements of this exercise. So we'll do the movements. We'll go into the phase exercises much later. So we are going to rotate the prana. As we do this, Muladhara and Swadhisthana over a period of a few years will start coming closer to each other. At one point, they will become one chakra. Become one chakra. How is a solar system formed? How is a solar system formed? It is usually formed by a dual star. There is one small dwarf, very heavy, and one huge light star, and they are rotating around each other. And at one point, this falls into this light star, and the splash sends out different paths, and a solar system is formed. Right? Similarly, Mooladhara and Swadhisthana are dual stars. When they move into each other, something new is born within us. Right? So we're going to learn that exercise now. Any questions on this anyone has? That I'm coming to. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. I've not showed you the exercises. Right? Okay. Perineum. I showed you yesterday the perineum. This is the perineum. Yeah, between the muscles of excretion and the muscles of urine, there's a small triangular part which is a membrane. There's no muscle over there. It's just a membrane. The backbone ends, the what you call hanging bone, the last one, right? Last vertebra ends over there, right? So the Mooladhara lies in that perineum, right? Okay. So I'll show you. You'll have to sit here. Okay. So this is the position. 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 Now the movements. The first movement is from here, 1, right? So you're down here, 1, 2, lift the chest, 3, elbows straight, as if the whole body weight is coming on the elbows. Now 5, it's a little tricky, 5. 5, bend the elbows a little, rotate the shoulders back, and 6, come right down, bending the elbows fully. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 3, 5, 6. Right? Let's do it together. From 1, 2, lift the chest. 3, elbows straight, as if the whole body weight is coming on the elbows. 5, bend the elbows a little, roll the shoulders back, and 6, come right down, bending the elbows right down. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 3, 5, 6. Now we'll do it with the music. Normal 3-step, the normal breathing music, not the exercise, not the fast one. Right? Let's do it with the music. Right? We are doing 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Breathing in, breathing out. We don't have 1, 2, 3. We don't have 1, 2, 3. In the app, it is there. In the app.
In the app, it's phase 2 and 3. 1 is not there.
No, but somebody's saying 1, 2, 3.
Ah, okay. The earlier one is fine. The one we
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
This is fast.
Slow.
So this they won't be able to do 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1. They will not be able to do that. We want the slow music.
Okay.
No? Sure, but in the app it must be there. It's not in there. Okay. Yeah, this music, slow music. Okay, we'll do it with, I'll say 1, 2, 3.
Practice with music variations. Phase 2. 6 minutes each step. Normal.
This is the position. Right? Position. Now, 1 is here. Right? Here. 2, lift the chest. 3, elbows straight, as if the whole body weight is coming on the elbows. 5, bend the elbows a little and rotate the shoulders back. 5 has 2 movements. And 6, come right down, bending the elbows completely. 1, 2, 3. Right. So we'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Now this is it. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1. 6 down, right now. Come, bend right now. Elbows completely bend in 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 down. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay. Now we're going to add one more. Pause. Only pause. Right. Now we're going to add one movement. Right. At 3, we will pull in the lower abdomen, like we do in the gold nugget. Pull in and release immediately. Right? Pull in and release. Pull in and release. So we go 1, 2, 3, pull in, 5, 6. 3, pull in, release, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, pull in, release, 5, 6. Right? Okay.
So the breathing, normally you do 1, 2, 3, breathe in.
Yeah. And 5, 6. You breathe out. Don't worry about the breathing. Keep breathing in 1, 2, 3 and breathe out.
Then you're breathing out.
No. You're just pulling in. Don't worry about breathing out. Don't worry about breathing out. Just pull in and release. Pull in and release. Right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3.
Be ready for 30.
No, they won't be able to do this.
36 cycles.
Let's try.
Breathing practice with music variations. Phase 1. 3 minutes each step, normal. 36 cycles, 18 cycles, and normal. Followed by a posture as demonstrated.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Pull in and release at 3. 2, 3, 5, 6. At 3, pull in and release. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 down, forward, up, pull, 5, 6 down, 2, 3, 5, 6, forward, up, pull, bend, back 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5,
6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5.
Okay, okay. Relax for some time. Do it again. This way, this way. No, no. Do apply, wear what do you call, wristband. Apply oil. Huh? Apply oil. Is it broken or has it repaired?
It's healed, but it's.
Yeah, just see. If it works, doesn't, then you don't do the exercise. Just see. But you wear a good wristband. Do it.
How is this helping?
So we are breathing in. You are here in the morning? No. Okay, I'm glad I'll go to it. Okay, I'll explain it, okay?
Musical chair.
None of us would last with a teacher, you know. No, I'm just joking. It's like, you know, he would say something today, half the thing, and then he would continue after 6 months, right? And we have to be aware when he's going to talk. Okay, so in the morning I said that when we breathe in air plus prana. This is clear to everyone, right? The air goes in the lungs. The prana does not go in the lungs. It separates over here and it goes in a nadi, right? That nadi, if in the right nostril, is called as pingla. In the left nostril, it is called as ida. That nadi it wraps around the backbone and takes the prana to a place called the perineum. Perineum. There the subtle body breathes in. Who was asking astral body? Who was asking? Yeah, we can't. Between the physical and the, what do you call, astral body, we have an etheric body. All this is in the etheric body, right? The astral body is the real patterns. The real patterns. Because it is astral. You know, astral, you use the word. What does the word astral mean? Planetary. Planetary. So that would really require a totally different description than this. Okay? But this is the factory, the invisible factory of the body-brain system, right? The finished product is the anger which is lying in the go-down, those 6 which we saw. That finished product, the go-down, is the astral body. The go-down is the astral body, right? Now, this is the perineum, and from here, these 2 chakras, they breathe in. They breathe in the prana. The prana goes in from one side and the old prana goes out from the other side. Here, breathing in and breathing out are 2 separate actions. There, breathing in and breathing out are the same action, right? Now, what happens? I breathe in from here The air goes into the lungs, the prana goes here and comes down over here. The prana of the previous breath comes out over here. The new prana goes in, and that goes through this same nadi, comes here, and I breathe out. The prana which goes out is of the previous breath. The prana which goes out is of the previous breath. So now try to understand that when I'm breathing out over here, the prana is going in over here. It's the opposite action. Yeah, the opposite action. Now, when the prana goes through the right nostril, it is given a positive charge. When it goes through the left nostril, it is given a negative charge. Now try to understand this. The current crisscrosses. The current crisscrosses. So we have these discs over here. Right? Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura. Of course, there's a small chakra next to Manipura called Kundali, Anahata, or the two parts of Anahata. Right? Vishuddhi, the two parts of Vishuddhi. Right? Now, what is happening over here? It is crisscrossing. Can you understand? Now, this is necessary to make these brains work. To make these brains work. So, what is the law of electromagnetic induction? There is a rotation clockwise to the direction of the current. There is a rotation which is clockwise to the direction of the current. So when the current is in this direction, there is a half rotation. Now the direction is opposite, but when it crisscrosses, it is in the opposite direction, the other half rotates. And this is how these are kept rotating, by this prana which is going through Ida and Pingala. Am I coming across it? Right? So all these chakras are kept rotating by this crisscrossing of the nadi, right? And it deposits over here. Now, what we are doing is we are breathing in like this, and the prana is going here at this point over here. And at that point, we are pulling in the lower abdomen. So we are not allowing this to go in. And at the same time, in 5, we are rotating the shoulders. The minute we rotate the shoulders, the old prana takes one more cycle up. Can you get what I'm trying to say? And the new prana goes back. So between Mooladhara and Swadhisthana, when we do this exercise from next year, I'm hoping you will reach 3 minutes each exercise. Then we are rotating the prana for say 40 minutes or 50 minutes as we do this exercise continuously, the same prana. The same prana. When you're rotating, giving centrifugal force to the same prana, waste matter, the lower matter in that prana is being expelled, being thrown out. And this prana is being upgraded. It is being upgraded. It becomes something very, very powerful inside. Right? So all the negative stuff is being thrown out of it. These are the 5 master files. The 5, and at one point, maybe after a few years, we will have deleted these master files. You won't believe it, but I've seen many, many gurus. And it's not right for me to judge, but I want to make my point over here. One of them, you can say he's the most successful modern guru in history with what you call centers and land and ashrams all over the world. I'm talking about 1973. 1973, when I went into his bedroom, he was very ill. The doctor who was treating him, he was like my guru, like at that time. And there was fear of death. There was fear of death. A person who has all Hollywood personalities, all the top musicians in the world, who has centers all over the world. He's teaching things to them. There was fear of death. The five had not gone. After all these efforts, so many years of meditation, so much of this. I can talk about others, but I don't want to talk about it because I've very closely seen so many gurus in my life. What I'm trying to say is that this exercise destroys those five master files directly. So what I've taught you is not the exercise. I've only taught you the movements. The movements. If you reach 3 minutes of each exercise, then I'll teach. Then it's just a movement at different speeds, which is the exercise. Any questions in this? Any questions?
Does this happen without you being aware of it? In other words, you're trying to make us understand it. If a guru is just doing this.
Nobody does this. Nobody teaches this.
And how long would you be doing this, do you believe, before you...
There'll be phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 years. Then if you have perfected it, then I'll teach you how to rotate the chakras in different ways. And then I'll teach you how to separate the body at night when you go to sleep. And then I'll teach you how to die consciously. All this takes time.
How is the physical movement be able to rotate a circle?
Because the breath is moving in a certain way and we are pulling in that part of the body which is related to the prana.
So here the Pingala is going this way and is Ila going around?
The other way, opposite. It's like a caduceus. Caduceus. Right? It's up to you. I have been called here to teach, so I'm just teaching it to you. It's up. Yeah, so.
So the gurus that have been able to do samadhi, they have been able to
Yes. These basic weaknesses will always pull us down, however high we go. And many people, even after samadhi, some weaknesses remain. So the weakness eats up the samadhi. You know, one day my guru came with 2 sacks. And he gave us all one, what do you call, board. And our hands had to remain on that board like this. We couldn't put our hands like this or anything. Exactly on the board. And it was very tight like this. Now we covered the board with acupressure thorns. Right? So by the end of the exercise, all this was bleeding. And we all had blisters. So he says, you have to use the board. Right? I'm not asking anything from yours. Okay? But what I'm trying to say is that this is the triple warmer meridian which we are activating when we are doing this exercise. Triple warmer meridian. Right? Bolo.
So I was reading this on the website that I believe was reviewed in the every 40 hours or every 90 seconds. Because he doesn't really he was saying that we don't really need to read all that.
So he would eat 3 meals a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 2 meals would be just 1 cup of tea and 3 chapatis. You know what is a chapati? It's an Indian bread. Right, right. So and 1 meal would be a full meal. Once he said the doctor cut my tongue whilst examining my teeth. So he told me, you come after 12 days. After 12 days, I went. He said, see, for 12 days, I didn't open mouth. Everything has healed. I did not eat or drink. I did not eat or drink for 12 days. But he says, that is not the problem. He says, the problem is that my weight has increased by 2 kilos. My guru was a phenomenon. A phenomenon. Before I met him, I had gone through 3-4 gurus. Right? So one day he was teaching me how to use the pendulum. You know the pendulum? He's teaching me how to use the pendulum. And you know, we ask stupid questions. Poor student is in darkness. Right? So we ask stupid questions. So I said that when I was leaving, I said, sir, any book on the pendulum to read? Now somebody is teaching you, right? But this is how the mind works. So go to Strand bookstall. So I walked down to Strand bookstall. He used to live on the 6th floor, no lift. If you phone from downstairs that I brought a heart patient, he can't climb up, he'll run down the stairs, check the heart patient and go back up and give him medicine. Right? So I went to Strand bookstall, and the owner of Strand bookstall, I knew him very well, and he was piling up some boxes and it was written the pendulum kit. Right? He said, you're my first customer, 50% discount. So he was a different person. He used to say, in my past life, I've swallowed a TV, color TV. So if, you're talking on the phone, right, he'll say, okay, tell him this. I'll tell you one very famous Gujarati writer. He came to Bombay and he phoned my guru, I want to meet you. So he said, okay, today is Wednesday, call me next Wednesday. So again he phoned next Wednesday. He said, call me next Wednesday. Again he phoned Wednesday, he called me next Wednesday. And that person, 3 weeks, he was living at his daughter's home in Bombay. And Indian people don't live at their daughter's home. It's not right. You see, it's not right. They don't live at that. So he was feeling very, upset that I'm living at my daughter's home in Bombay for 3 weeks. So I knew him. So somebody told him to call me. So he called me. I said, see, one thing, tomorrow I'm making medicine in the afternoon. I used to spend the afternoons with my guru making medicine. He would make the medicine, I'd write the labels. And so you don't do anything, you just phone from down. I'll tell him that he's downstairs. Why don't you call him upstairs and meet him? So the phone is ringing in the afternoon. Before I pick up the phone, he says, tell him he can come upstairs. Yeah. It swallowed a color TV. One more example, last one. Otherwise, when a disciple talks about his guru, he's talking about his own ego, right? So you have to be very careful. One girl was coming, and she says she had left her husband, and she says, my husband is not giving me divorce. So for 1 year, she was coming every month, and then that day she was very angry after 1 year, and she was cursing my guru. You're not answering my question. My husband is not giving me divorce. She says, which date is it? 20th January. So he said in Gujarati, it's difficult for me to explain what he said. He said, but till 2nd February, we won the divorce. After 2nd February, he'll want the divorce. He's going to fall in love on 2nd February. right? So this was the thing. I spent 6 years with him. And I remember Saddam Hussein went into Kuwait, sent the army into Kuwait. And here Bush was on TV. We'll get him out in 24 hours and get him out in 48 hours. He put this thing, small note he gave it to me. I said, Rapid, don't read it now, read it when you reach home. I used to live 40 minutes away. So I had to go by train every day, up, down. All right. And that date was after 3 months when he was going to leave Kuwait, the exact date he was going to leave Kuwait. So, this was what he was. And I was lucky to spend 6 years with him.
Please, Tavareji?
Tauraji. When he was one more story I'll tell you. When he was a small 9-year-old boy, everybody used to ask him, okay, which papers will come in the exam? So he would say, these exams. What will happen here? And he would tell. And his father was very angry. He said, this boy is talking all nonsense. So his father had a friend. And he says, you take him to India's top astrologer, who was a friend of that friend in those days. His name was Dr. Surya Narayan Rao. And he was the one who predicted the Second World War and all that. So you take him over there and ask Surya Narayan Rao to take his exam, whether he really knows astrology or is talking all nonsense. So that friend took him to Madras from Bombay. And they met Surya Narayan Rao, the great astrologer in those days. So he asked him a few questions to Vakil, a 9-year-old boy. He's saying, I don't understand anything you are asking, but yesterday your wife hit her leg against the table and it's bandaged. Say, how do you know that? Say, you do your astrology, I do my astrology. Yeah, this is the one you taught me. He taught me. It's all his grace. It's all his grace. And the only way you can thank the Guru is by teaching others. To teach others. Okay, now what do we want to do? We'll practice the exercise again tomorrow morning, right? All the exercises. Practice again. Try to practice at home a little.
You were going to over the Yoga Sutras.
Pardon?
Yoga.
Now I travel in the US. For last 10 years I've been coming to the US. And I travel to South Africa. Initially I used to go to England, Australia and New Zealand also, but I don't have the strength to do it any longer. And I'm also going old. So, so I've cut down. Because even this much of travel makes 4.5 months of travel outside India, apart from the travel in India. So I think but I want to start London again. If I get a chance, I'm going to start going to London again. Yeah.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
So you said there are conditions to do this exercise.
No, this hands like this. Yeah. The hands like this. Yeah.
Well, no. The one we just did.
Yeah.
This exercise.
This is not the exercise. These are the movements.
These are the movements.
When we do this at the fast speed, we are starting the exercise.
Okay.
We are not doing it at the fast speed. We are doing it at the slow speed.
So can we practice that at the slow speed?
10 minutes every day.
Okay.
At the slow speed.
Okay, so we don't have to first have done certain things.
No. You can practice this every day, 10 minutes with the slow speed.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you.
And the exercises that we have learned, we do for 1 minute. And then you say that once we have reached 3 minutes.
3 minutes, each exercise.
Then you can teach us the exercise.
I've already taught you the exercise. Then we'll do the whole exercise in one, what you call sequence.
So when do we know that we're ready to go from 1 minute to 2 minutes? Of each exercise.
Oh, that you will know from inside. Your yoga students, no? So you will know from inside that I can go from 1 minute to 2 minutes. Or make a plan. Every month you'll increase by half a minute. Make a plan or something. So that's very easy. So, what do you want to do now? We still have 20 minutes.
wanted to talk about yoga.
Okay, the Yoga Sutras. You've heard of the Yoga Sutras? No. Sutra means a thread. Thread. Yoga means the thread of yoga. The Yoga Sutras. The thread of yoga. Now, sutra also means an aphorism. Aphorism. That is a small saying. Right? Now, in the old days, there was no writing down. When the students sat with the guru, there was no writing down. So everything was taught in two ways, either through Sanskrit slokas or through Sanskrit sutras. The sutras are mnemonic, that as you practice them, you remember them automatically. You remember them automatically. Sutras. We don't know which they were, when they were written. But in India, before there were any religions, there was something called darshan. Darshan means to see. What is the science of seeing? So, out of that were born 6 darshans, right? And the last one was yoga. The last one was yoga. So, if I'm looking at you, am I really looking at you or am I looking at something else? What is happening? What is the process of looking at you? Science says you are broken down into particles of light called quanta. They come and they touch the rods of the cone inside, and an image is created, right? Something like that, the science says. We'll see what yoga has to say. So, yoga says, what is there in this process of seeing? Right? So, he says, when I look at you, I'm throwing attention onto you. And this attention is through the 5 senses. Looking is just because it is 70-80% of how we use the senses. Right? You are broken down into electromagnetic impulses. Right? You are broken down into electromagnetic impulses. Right? These impulses flow in through the 5 senses. They flow in through the 5 senses. Now, every darshan talks about these impulses in different ways. We'll take the first darshan, which is called Sankhya. It calls these electromagnetic impulses as tanmatra. Tan means minimum. Matra means measure. Minimum, measure. Now, can you see, we are talking about a science created before there was any science, before there was ophthalmology or anything, thousands of years ago. The rishi is saying that I throw attention upon you. You are broken down into pieces. Those pieces are electromagnetic pieces called tanmatra. Why are they called tanmatra? That do I need all those pieces to recreate your image in my brain, or do I need only a minimum amount to recreate your image? Right? We need just a minimum amount. Those impulses flow through the 5 senses, and there is an inner organ called the manas. It recreates your image on a screen inside, which is called the chitta. This recreated image, which is created on the screen of the mind, I am looking at that recreated image. I am not looking at you. This is the science of darshan. What are you looking at? What is this? Now, What do these electromagnetic impulses contain? So all that goes into the science of yoga. This recreated image on the chitta is called, in yoga, it is called as vritti. Vritti. Vritti means that which is vibrating as per the original. What am I looking at? The vritti. I'm not looking at you. You are coming in and your image is being created, and I am looking at that image, I am looking at that vritti. But this vritti, when it is created inside, it is not pure. It is already conditioned by memory. It is already conditioned by memory. You are pure outside, but by the time your image is created inside, memory is so fast, it has already conditioned it. I like her nose, I don't like her nose, I this, that, whatever. You get it? Likes and dislikes have already conditioned that image. This conditioning of the by the memory is the another name for memory is also chitta. So they say the first sutra in yoga is yoga chitta vritti nirodh. That image which has been created inside can be freed from the conditioning of memory. Can be freed from the conditioning of memory. Right? If it is free from the conditioning of memory, then the seer is in his own space. The seer is in his own form. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Right? So this is the beginning of yoga. The yoga says that there is a seer inside. This seer inside. But this seer is identified with everything he sees. He forgets that he is the seer. Right? Right? And he becomes identified. My son, my daughter, hey, you are the seer, you are the observer. Right? The prices of petrol have gone up. The seer gets identified. Can you understand? He becomes one, he gets identified. This getting identified in yoga is called as sarupyam. Rupa, this word means shape. Shape means shape. Sarupya means to take the shape of. To take the shape. The prices of petrol have gone high. The seer takes the shape of the prices of petrol. He forgets he was the seer. Can you now understand what I'm trying to say? Right? But when we free the vritti from memory, chitta, yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha, when we free the vritti from memory, in that moment the seer comes out of this and he is in his original shape. His original shape is what we call as tada drashtu swarupa. It is original shape tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. This is how yoga begins. The Yoga Sutra begins, right? So the seer is either in his own state or he is in the state of whatever vritti. He's either in his own state. Now we'll go through the first three sutras. The first sutra is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. I'll just sit down. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Atha is a particle. A particle. A particle telling us that something is stopping and something new is beginning. So now we will translate it normally as now the discipline of yoga. From this moment, the discipline of yoga. But I'll have to go very deep into the word atha. Atha is a meeting of two times, a cross. meeting of two times. This is our time, birth to death. But in each moment of this time, birth to death, there is something which rises and something which falls. That is vertical time. So each point in horizontal time is cut by vertical time. Cut by vertical time. This vertical time, he says that, can you give me this marker, and I throw it at him. So in vertical time, I have fallen. But he says, please give me this marker. Sure, take it. In vertical time, I have risen. Can you see? So each moment of time in horizontal time, we are moving from birth to death. But each moment in horizontal time has something which can take us up in consciousness, something which can take us down. The ladder of consciousness is in each moment of time. Right? And as we rise in the ladder of consciousness, the seer is free from what he is seeing. We are extracting the seer out of the prices of petrol. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So we are moving up this ladder of consciousness. So that first word in the Yoga Sutra is the word atha. It is saying we are at the crossroads of time. You are now entering this sutra. We are going to be talking about horizontal time, and we are going to be talking about vertical time. Please understand, you are standing at that crossroads, and from that crossroad, you are entering into a new discipline called the discipline of yoga. Now there's the discipline of life, and there's a discipline of yoga, right? So if he insults me, the discipline of life tells me that give it back to him. This is the discipline of life. But the discipline of yoga says, if you give it back to him, then the seer becomes the anger. The seer becomes the anger. But if you pause and you extract the seer from the anger, then it is the discipline of yoga. So Patanjali, when he starts his Yoga Sutra, he's taking a promise from the people, that is all of us, that up till now we followed the discipline of life, but from this moment in our lives, we will follow the discipline of yoga. Atha Yoga Anushasana. In this moment, from this moment in our lives, we have decided that everything will be dictated by the discipline of yoga, not my choice, not what I like, not what is good or bad, but what yoga says is right, I will do from this moment. Right? And we have to learn what the discipline of yoga says. So the first sutra is Atha Yoga Anushasana. Anushasana is discipline. Now again, it's a very deep word, but just Tada Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What is yoga? Yoga is freeing the impression from the memory. Yoga is freeing the impression from the conditioning of memory. If the impression is freed from the conditioning of memory, tada drashtuhu swarupaya avasthanam. Then the drashta, the seer, is in his own form. But those own form is in avasthas, one step above after the other. Next time he may rise higher, next time he may rise higher. If the seer is not in his own form, then the next sutra says, Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Where is the seer? He has become what he sees. He has become the anger, right? He has become what he sees. He has become the vritti. He has become the vritti. He has been identified with the vritti. He forgets that he is separate from the vritti. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Then it goes into the science of vrittis. How many types of images are created? Vritteya, panchataya, klishta, aklishta. There are 5 kinds of vrittis, 5 kinds of images which can be created in the brain, in the chitta, on the screen of the mind. 5 different kinds of images can be created. Vritteya, panchataya, klishta, aklishta. Those images are either, what did we say? With klesh or without klesh. We took the word klesh. And the klesh means the seed of karma. So when the image is created inside, either it has the seed of karma, that is, it will invite repetition, or it will not invite repetition. I get angry on him, the seer has become the anger, become the vritti. This vritti will invite repetition. What kind of vritti it is? It's a klishta vritti. Can you get it? But I read something good from a book, it is an aklishta vritti. Can you understand now what I'm trying to say? It is not going to create new karma. Right? So there are two kinds of vrittis, those which go into the process of repetition and those which are free of repetition. Vrittaya, panchataya, klishta, aklishta. Then he gives the names of the vrittis, pramana, viparya, all right, right? Then after that he says, abhyasa vairagya bhyama tan nirodha. I'll finish over here. So he says how to go back to that state of yoga where you're free of the conditioning of memory. So he says you have to keep on practicing through abhyasa. Abhyas means practice. Practice. It's a abhi-as. As means to sit. Abhi means now. To sit now into practice. That does not mean I'll practice tomorrow. Are you practicing now? Are you practicing now? Okay, tomorrow I'll take something called presence and present. Presence is in vertical time, present is in horizontal time. I'll take it tomorrow. Right? So are you practicing now? So abhyas is not something which I'll do tomorrow, I'll do day after tomorrow, or it's a course in some university. It is every moment of the abhyas. Right? Abhyasa vairagya. How do you reach that state of yoga? Through constant practice, vairagya, through renunciation, that which is taking you away from the state of yoga. The anger is, he's insulted, the reaction is taking me away from the state of yoga by sacrificing the reaction. I sacrifice the reaction. Abhyas, vairagya. This vairagya is sacrificing. Abhyasa, vairagya, bhyama tan nirod. That sthiti of nirod, yoga chitta vritti nirod, can be achieved through constant practice and sacrificing vairagya, through sacrificing that which takes me away from yoga. Satu dirgha kale nairantarye satkara sevitu dradbhumi. This practice has to be done over a long period of time. And it has to be done with satkar. Satkar means as when a young child is born, the mother is feeding the child. This feeding the child in Sanskrit is called sevan. The child is it's not just feeding, it is feeding with love. Can you understand? It is feeding with a kind of inner happiness. It is a feeding with a kind of inner joy, satkar. So it's sevan. So the Rishi is saying not just practice. Practice over a long time, practice with the attitude of love as if you're drinking your mother's milk. That is the way you have to practice. Then you will achieve that state of yoga. I'll stop over here. These are how the sutras of yoga go. Okay, I'll stop over here. We meet again tomorrow morning, 6:30.
Yes.
Thank you. Good night.
Please, I'm taking 5 minutes. So tomorrow's schedule, we'll meet here in the morning. We do the practices and